Good evening, and bloody welcome to Summer Night Murder Mystery, the ABC Murders, episode 15. In the previous episode, we went into Marbury guest house and went through Cust's room. We did find a lot of evidence that is pointing towards him as the murderer, but is he really the murderer? I'm not so sure, but it seems like he is, judging by what we found. Let's take a look here. We found an ink ribbon from his typewriter that was used to write the letters that were addressed to Poirot. We also found some medicine, and it's not in our inventory here, but we also found a knife and some bloodstains and A.B.C catalogs and stockings and newspapers. So judging by that, we have found our killer, but I'm not totally sure that he is guilty, even though I guess he is, but I'm not sure. It's pretty much too evident that he is the murderer, so judging by my previous knowledge, if you will, about Hercule Poirot's murder stories, he is probably not the murderer. Let's take a look at our objective here. It is go to Scotland Yard, so that is what we will do. So let's jump into the taxi here and head over to Scotland Yard. I'm gonna close this.
To Scotland Yard, please.
And here he is, Mr. Cust. Yeah, let's look at him.
This man is not in good shape.
Lowered eyes, shaking hands, and he's crossing his fingers. And crumpled jacket.
And very tired. And other police have been hard on him.
Alexander Bonaparte Cust is his full name. I am having trouble remembering the characters' names in this game. But of course I do remember Hercule Poirot's name and Hastings' name. At least his last name. I don't know Hastings' full name. But enough about that. Let's start the questioning.
What do you want from me?
Ask if he knows who is speaking to him. Present yourself or ask who he is. Let's present ourselves.
Good day, Mr. Cust. I am Hercule Poirot.
Ah, you're the detective.
Talk about the letters. Ask why he sent the letters. I'm gonna go with this one.
Why did you send me a letter before each crime?
Why all these questions? When Are you going to stop pestering me?
Acknowledge his innocence or get him to admit that he has forgotten. I'm gonna go with this one.
Maybe you forgot that you wrote these letters.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes I forget. Maybe I did type them.
Ask if he is capable of killing, accuse him of being a killer, or admit that you do not believe he is a murderer. I don't want to accuse him of being a killer because I am not sure that he is a killer. Should I admit that I do not believe he is a murderer, or ask if he is capable of killing? I think that I will go with this one.
Are you capable of murder, Mr. Cust?
All these questions are giving me a headache.
He doesn't seem to be in shape of committing murder. I have to say that.
Poor man. If only I could help him.
Oh well, I do have his cough medicine. Is this it? Yeah.
Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher.
So I can help him.
Take this. It will help you.
Thank you. Oh, good God, my shirt is covered in blood again.
Oh, he coughed up blood on his shirt.
Bon. I now know where the bloodstains Mrs. Marbury saw came from. Are you well enough to speak?
Yes, I feel much better.
Ask if he is capable of killing, accuse him of being a killer, or admit that you do not believe he is a murderer. I actually don't believe that he is the murderer, because he doesn't seem to be capable of committing murder, but maybe he is an accomplice in any way. I'm gonna go with this one. I might be wrong, but I'm gonna go with this one.
I do not believe that you are capable of murder, Mr. Cust.
I hope not.
Insist on the fact that he enjoyed the war. Get him to talk about the army. I'm gonna go with this one.
You suffered during the war.
It's true. I was wounded. I suffered. But the army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions. Just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts of amnesia.
And headaches.
Professor Clark treated you.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned throat.
Ask him of Dr. Clark's murder, accuse him of the 3 murders, or get him to believe he is innocent. I think that he took orders from someone. I'm not sure that he committed the murders, but I think that he wrote the letters and sent them. But he did that by someone's order, perhaps. Get him to believe he is innocent or accuse him of Dr. Clark's murder. Accuse him of the 3 I'm gonna go with this one, actually.
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No. No, never.
Ask him if he acknowledged going to the 3 towns. Say that witnesses saw him in the 3 towns. I'm gonna go with this one.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot. But not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
Ah. It comes clear
Let's
now.
see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards.
The one who employed him is probably the murderer. So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself, or it proves that you wrote them. So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself, or it proves that you wrote them. I'm gonna go with this one.
So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself.
I don't remember. Good God! I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
Now he's starting to shake. I do have... Is this pain relieving?
I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative.
Okay, the voice acting stopped suddenly. So it's a sedative. It is not a pain relief in any way then. I am trying to look at him, but I can't seem to do so. Let's give him this.
Take this. It will help you.
Oh, I think I'll be fine.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders?
Yes.
Oh, so he
I know.
did. I was way
But
off
I'm not
then.
wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
No, I don't.
Okay, so I should talk to him. I didn't think that he was the murderer there for a second, but apparently he is. But he probably committed the murderers by order of someone.
Let us leave Cust alone. He's at the end of his tether.
Can't we speak to him some more?
Let us leave Cust alone. He's at the end of his tether.
Okay then. What is my objective? It is to leave the room, I would guess. Talk to Jap. Let's read about our suspect here. His name is Alexander Bonaparte Cust. He's about 40 years old and he lives in London. He lives at Marbury guest house where he rents a room on a yearly basis. He's a door-to-door stocking seller. He was in each town where there was a murder. He does not deny having committed these crimes, but he has no memory of doing so. I'm still not convinced that he's the murderer, though. But I don't know.
And what conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
What do we know about Cust's health? He says that he did not write the letters. He suffers from hemolysis. He brings up blood when he coughs. He had blood on him. He has a problem with his throat. You would expect the murderer to keep newspaper articles about all his crimes, but Cust's collection starts in Churchton, as if he had heard about the case late on. He suffers from abscesses. I accidentally clicked on the knife. Sir Carmichael was attacked from behind and the blood spurted out in the direction of the sea. I'm gonna read the rest of them as well. He did not appear to recognize Poirot. He had no reason to kill them. Mrs. Marbury saw Cust's shirt with stains on the buttonholes. He suffered from abscesses. Let's read the text to the left. Cust is mentally and physically weak, not really the profile of our killer. Are there any clues that do not support Cust's guilt in the Churchton murder? He says that he did not write the letters, perhaps. He had blood on him. You would expect the murderer to keep blah blah blah. No. He did not appear to recognize Poirot. He had no reason to kill them. Mrs. Marbury saw Cust's shirt with stains on the buttonholes. Maybe that one. He did not appear to recognize Poirot. Sir Carmichael was attacked from behind and the blood spurted out in the direction of the sea. Are there any clues that do not support Cust's guilt in the Churchton murder? He says that he did not write the letters. He had blood on him. Are there any clues that do not support Cust's guilt in the Churchton murder? Sir Carmichael was attacked from behind and the blood spurted out in the direction of the sea. He did not appear to recognize. He had no reason to kill them. Mrs. Marbury saw Cust's shirt with stains on the buttonholes. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes. Yet we see quite the opposite. Are there any clues that do not support Cust's guilt? Are there any clues that do not support Cust's guilt? He says that he did not write the letters. He had blood on him. You would expect the murderer to keep newspaper articles about all his crimes, but Cust's collection starts in Churchton, as if he heard about the case laid on. He did not appear to recognize Poirot. He had no reason to kill them. No? There are several details which show that Cust is not guilty. Can we say without a shadow of a doubt that Cust is guilty? He says that he did not write the letters. He had blood on him. He had no reason to kill them, and that one. Not guilty.
I don't see any clearer than before. This is worse.
There is one point to highlight. C'est curieux. Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
Let's keep it simple. Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters. Then, with great ease, I managed to get him say quite the opposite.
Come on, he behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Because deep down he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us look at his psychological profile. You will understand my point of view. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Is Cust clever? Indeed, let us look again at this murder, if you please. You will see that the murderer carried it out to perfection. Clever. He had blood on him. Oh, it wasn't for pleasure. He was always unwell on trains. But he had to sell his stockings around England. I have to respect my engagements, he used to say. Cust is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury. The army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions, just orders to follow. He was very hesitant and shy. Usually door-to-door salesmen are very confident, but he wasn't. I suspected him for some time, but he appeared so harmless. Oh yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about, but even then he wasn't frightening. And he was as gentle as a lamb again, immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. Medium size, glasses, dark suit and a felt hat. Not the sort of man you'd notice, completely harmless. That's why I forgot all about him. I'm not really sure what to choose there. Can I? No, I cannot drag that down there. I'm gonna go and try them out until I find the correct one, because I honestly don't know what one I will choose. Mediocre. Is lust my bad. Is Cust sure of himself? Self-confident. Killed when the street was packed with people. That's rather bold. Is Cust sure of himself? This one, I think. He was very hesitant and shy. Usually door-to-door salesmen are very confident, but he wasn't. Easy to influence. Is Cust a seducer? The man seduced Betty before taking her to the beach were to strangle her. Medium-sized glasses, dark suit and a felt hat, not the sort of man you'd notice. Completely harmless, that's why I forgot all about him. I'll think this one. Without any charm. Does Cust like trains? A passenger timetable, maybe the murderer likes trains. Yeah, this one. Oh, it wasn't for pleasure. He was always unwell on trains, but he had to sell his stockings around England. I have to respect my engagements, he used to say. Does not like trains. Is Cust impulsive? The killer is methodical and prepares his crime meticulously. He never forgets to leave his intriguing signature behind. Cust is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there's nothing left. I've suspected him for a long time, but he appeared so harmless. Oh yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about, but even then he wasn't frightening, and he was as gentle as a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. I think this one. Cold. So there is a match there at least. Is Cust generous? Without the A.B.C. we might have suspected Mr. Asher and Mr. Fraser, but by signing his crimes the murderer is making sure that he is accused. In a way, it is very generous of him. I don't think that Cust is generous. He seems really cheap. Well, not cheap. Economical, I would like to say. Since he keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. So he is miserly, whatever that means.
You see? Cust's character is quite the opposite of the murderer's.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me 24 hours.
Okay, so now we should go home. I don't think there is anything to look at here, so let's head straight home. It is not a good... it's that's the wrong way. I will have to jump in the taxi here in order to get
to
home.
White Heaven, please.
I'm not totally sure who the murderer is,
Cust's arrest
though.
is a great success for you, Poirot. It's all clear now, except maybe 1 or 2 details.
Details. Ah, mon ami. The devil is in the detail, as we say.
Excuse me?
Patience, Hastings. Everything will be clear once our guests arrive. Best be prepared. Slip a revolver into your pocket before they do.
A revolver? But Poirot, what are you afraid of?
Trust me. It is important you carry a weapon for this meeting. I will lend you mine.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait 1 moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Okay. I don't think there is any need to look at the books here, but I might as well do so.
Churston, Devon, population 500 inhabitants. Hourly of trains. London, Churston. Trains of evening. London, 6:45 p.m. Newton about 11 a.m. Charleston, 11:45 a.m. London, 11:45 p.m. Newton about 6:08 a.m. Charleston, 7:15 a.m.
I didn't get any points in doing so, but
Hastings' photo
I might
album.
as well
He is very proud of his bag.
look at them, I guess, because it wasn't registered that I had looked at them before. Not that it matters though.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Okay, my objective is to get the revolver, I guess, yeah. So, let's not head that way then, because Poirot is apparently moonwalking. He's doing it really great though, even though he's not moving backwards. He's just walking at the same spot there. Can I? Yes, thank you, Poirot. Walk this way, please. And let's check ourselves out in the mirror. Or besides the mirror. Okay, the plate of cookies is still on the table here.
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets.
So the white ammunition is blanks and those are real? Should I go with the blanks or the real ammunition? I'm not totally sure. If there is a threatening situation, then I guess real bullets might be better, but Hercule have a plan for something, I don't know what. So I'm gonna use the blank bullets. I think these are the blanks.
The revolver is loaded with real bullets.
Oh!
I still have time to choose blanks.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with blanks.
The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullets.
Yeah, so the revolver is loaded with blanks now.
My revolver is loaded. I now have to give it to Hastings.
So yeah, it is loaded with blanks. What about this ribbon though? Can I? Yeah, I can read the newspapers.
Daily Flicker, September the 11th, 1935. A.B.C. affair, Terminus Doncaster. Japp and Poirot arrest the killer. A.B. Cust is the name of the alphabet murderer. The police have arrested him in a hotel in Doncaster. He was preparing to kill his fourth victim, Mr. Dick Dudley Dunbar, the establishment manager. Mr. Dunbar owes his life to the miraculous intervention of Inspector Japp of Scotland Yard and Detective Hercule Poirot. The Lancet, September 11th, 1935. General Medical Journal. The alphabet murderer is not psychotic, according to Professor Thompson. In an early issue, we claimed that the alphabet murderer was not psychotic. Our assertion has just been confirmed by Professor Thompson, a Scotland Yard expert, who has spoken to the prisoner at great length. Not all obsessional killers are psychotic, he explained. It is true that Cust has a disturbed personality and memory disorders. But his amnesia, whether real or pretended, does not alter the fact that he was perfectly lucid at the time of his acts. Therefore, he will not escape punishment.
So, the media have already judged him. Even though the case isn't closed yet. Okay.
Some cool hair.
I can use the phone, it seems, but I should go over to Hastings first and give him the revolver.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
So I thought that he would give the revolver to him automatically by speaking to him, but I have to do it like this.
Voila, I entrust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used, it is almost new.
Answer the telephone. Okay.
Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found prints left by Cust and his landlady.
Well, never mind, I shall make do.
So, are you still going to hold your meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guest coming up the stairs.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Gray formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
Xenophobia? Maybe he didn't like you because you're foreign.
I may be wrong, but maybe by provoking you he was looking for glory?
All these theories should be studied. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Why did the murderer make a mistake in the address? Why indeed? The body was still warm. Piece of envelope with the wrong address. The letter's late arrival saved the murderer. Poirot's address is not very well known. The murderer challenged Poirot because he has an inferiority complex. The murderer challenged Poirot for glory. The error in the address caused the letter to be delivered late. The murderer challenged Poirot out of xenophobia. The murderer always warned Poirot about his murders. The mistake is intentional. Why did the killer send his letters to Hercule Poirot? The murderer challenged Poirot out of xenophobia. Perhaps? Nope. For glory, because he has an inferiority complex. Poirot's address nowhere. Maybe that one. Nope. Maybe that one. Nope. Maybe that one. He wrote to Poirot because his address is not very well known.
Is everything clear now?
You might like to explain your reasoning again.
Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Absolument. It is a very subtle plan. It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we are looking for.
Do madmen... I mean, if he's mad, he might have two very different sides.
No doubt. But the murderer is not mad. All the specialists agree that he does not have the profile of the psychopath.
But if Cust is not guilty, how do you explain his presence at the scene of the crimes?
Mr. Clark, the answer to your question is in the medical records of your brother's patients. Documents which Cust most certainly did not have access to. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
What do we know about Cust? Cust is easily influenced. Cust tries to overcome his travel sickness by traveling often by train. Cust buys newspapers that report on the case. He wanted to see the crime scenes. Alice Asher and Betty Barnard are in Dr. Clark's medical records. Cust was a door-to-door salesman. It is a coincidence that he went to the victims' towns. Cust went to Bexhill because he wanted to swim. Cust was in the war and has never been quite the same in the head since. Cust was wounded during the war. The murderer found a way to access Dr. Clark's medical records and tried to burn them in order to hide his tracks. What do we know about Cust? Cust was wounded during the war. We do know that. Cust tries to overcome... No. Cust is easily influenced. Cust is mentally fragile and easy to manipulate. How to explain Cust's presence at the crime scenes? Cust tries to overcome his travel sickness by traveling often by train. Cust buys newspapers. He wanted to see the crime scenes. Cust was a door-to-door salesman. It is a coincidence that he went to the victims' towns. Cust went to Bexhill because he wanted to swim. The murderer found a way to access Dr. Clark's medical records and tried to burn them in order to hide his tracks. I'm not sure about this one, but I'm gonna go with that. And that. No.
No? I don't know. Maybe it's not this one. Maybe it wasn't a coincidence though. Cuz tries to overcome his sickness by traveling often by train. Cuz buys newspaper. I don't think it is that one, no? Cuz went to Bexley because he wanted to swim. Cuz was in war. I don't think it's that one, no? The murder found where the access to close, blah blah blah. Nope. How to explain Cuz's presence at the crime scenes? How indeed? Well, he was a door-to-door salesman. Cuz was a door-to-door salesman. It is a coincidence that he went to the victim's house. I don't think it was a coincidence, though. The murder found where to access Dr. Clark's medical records and tried to burn them in order to hide his tracks. Cuz was in a war and has never been quite the same in the head since. Cuz went to Bexley because he wanted to swim. Alice Ashton by the Barnard in Dr. Clark's medical records. Nope. Cuz buys newspaper. No. Nope. And then I have to just go like this and try every possible combination because I can't think of any other way to do so. I just don't know. I have to cheat. I don't want to cheat, but I just don't know. I have tried the combinations that I thought it would be, but none of them worked. So I am pretty lost actually. And just randomly trying combinations doesn't lead me anywhere. Well, I might strike luck sooner or later, but it would take too much time to try to solve it like that. So I'm trying to find the correct page on the walkthrough that I will need to place here. But I haven't found it yet, so it isn't many combinations that I have to choose from, but I just can't figure it out. And this is starting to get frustrating now, so that is why I am going to use the walkthrough if I manage to find the correct page. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm totally lost now. Maybe I found the correct page now. Yes, I believe so. No, not yet. Here we go.
How to explain Cuz's presence at the crime scenes. Alice Asher and Betty Barnard are in Dr. Clark's medical records. That one, and the murder found a way to access Dr. Okay.
Dr. Clark's patient's records provided a very useful list of potential victims, sorted by alphabetical order. The killer definitely used it, explaining the fact that all the victims were former patients of the doctor. It is this fact that clears Cuz once and for all, because he never had access to these records. So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cuz was following him closely. Cuz's highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis. The murderer was manipulating him. He systematically sent Cuz to the towns where he was going to strike, so that the suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil. What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he gain from 3 completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes. What should we take from that?
Say that just one murder is of interest to the killer. say that the murderer kills for pleasure, say that the killer has developed a taste for murder, or say that these are 3 murderers. I don't believe there are 3 murderers though. So I'm gonna go with say that just one murder is of interest to the killer, because I have a suspicion that I said in a previous episode that Frankie Clark, was that his name? That he have a reason to kill his brother, because then he will be the sole heir of the heritage or the whole estate. So yeah, I'm gonna go with this one.
Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only one conclusion. The murderer killed once out of interest and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at 2 potential culprits.
Franklin Clark.
Yes.
Donald Fraser?
Yes, mademoiselle. That's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune. Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
That is true.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle.
Or not. Apparently. Indicate that Donald was treated by Dr. Clark. Yes, of course. Indicate that Donald was resting at Churston. Indicate that Donald's firm works for Clark. Well, his firm did work for Clark. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one.
He works for Court and Brunskill, one of whose clients was Sir Carmichael.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
You could have done it, and you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's records.
Do you think I'm guilty?
You or Mr. Franklin Clark?
That's ridiculous.
Both of you have a motive. The question is, which of you has the profile that most resembles the murderer? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Is Donald clever? The murderer is clever. Indeed, let us look again at this murder, if you please. You will see that the murderer carried it out to perfection. But is Donald clever? I guess he is. Megan really liked Donald Fraser. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous, a true gentleman. Mr. Poirot, since Betty's death I have doubts about myself. I don't know what to do, and I keep having a horrible dream. 3 nights in a row. Maybe he told that because he's clever, in order to cover his tracks. He's a bright man with a promising career ahead of him, so yeah, he must be clever. It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying, "One day, one day." Well, women seem to like him. I think Megan will take care of him. I'll sleep on the train. I like trains. It's easy to sleep, rocked by the sound of the wheels. Yeah, so Donald likes trains. And so does the killer. I think I'm gonna go with this one. He is clever. Is Donald sure of himself? Killed when the street was packed with people. That's rather bold. It sure is. Mr. Poirot, since Betty's death I had doubts about myself. I don't know what to do and I keep having a horrible dream. 3 nights in a row. I'm gonna try this one. Easy to influence. Is Donald a seducer? The man seduced Betty before taking her to the beach where he strangled her. Megan really liked Donald Fraser. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous, a true gentleman. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this one. Nope. It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married she was free to go with whomever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying one day, one day. Well, women seem to like him. I think Megan will take care of him. Maybe that one. He was a seducer. Does Donald like trains? A passenger timetable. Maybe the murderer liked trains, and yeah, he does like trains. I'll sleep on the train. I like trains. It's easy to sleep, rocked by the sound of the wheels. Is Donald impulsive? The killer is methodical and prepares his crime meticulously. He never forgets to leave his intriguing signature behind. Megan really liked Donald Fraser. He would have made... Is Donald impulsive? I think this one. He was quick-tempered. So it's not a complete match between Donald and the murderer. Without the ABC, we might have suspected Mr. Asher and Mr. Fraser, but by signing his crimes, the murderer is making sure that he is accused. In a way, it is very generous of him. Megan really liked Donald Fraser. Yeah, this one. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous, a true gentleman, so he was generous.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald may share many character traits with the murderer, but he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to imagine him planning anything. Also, jealousy is his motive, and crimes of passion are rarely planned.
Right, I suppose it's my turn to be subjected to the same scrutiny.
Absolument, Mr. Clark. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Now, is Franklin clever? Since I have already read the statements about the murderer, I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm gonna go straight to the declarations. Thora is evasive about her relationship with Sir Carmichael. School report for Franklin Clark. According to his teachers, Franklin was a good student but lacked discipline. I will try this one. Yeah, he was clever. Is Franklin sure of himself? Take Franklin. He's fallen for a sweet talking charms. He's a lovely boy, very plucky and sure of himself. Yeah, that is on black on white that he is sure of himself then. But he's so naive when it comes to women. So he is self-confident. Is Franklin a seducer? Dear Franklin, first I wish you a good start to a successful new year. I received your letter dated December 10th. Thanks for defending my interest against Wang, this robber. Things could have got pretty bad if you weren't a real cool-blooded guy. I envy you for that. Come on, Poirot, I'm a married man and Miss Grey is already being courted by Franklin Clark. Yeah, I think he's a seducer. Does Franklin like trains? It is normal that people helping with this inquiry should be reimbursed. Starting with you, Mr. Hour, please allow me to pay for your train tickets. Yeah, the Railway Children E. Nesbitt, that book that he got when he was a kid. Or at least younger. He likes trains. Is Franklin impulsive? Yes, he is. Okay. I thought that paying for someone's train tickets makes you impulsive, but maybe I should go with that one. Yeah. So he was cold. Is Franklin generous? Yes, he is.
As you have all seen, there is a disturbing similarity between Mr. Clark's profile and that of the killer. In actual fact, it is exactly the same.
Mr. Poirot, your psychological studies are interesting, but your conclusions do not add up. Why would I have wished my brother's death? The inheritance is lawfully mine. I just have to wait.
No, you had to act quickly.
Say that Thora Gray bothered him, or say that Franklin was impatient. I'm gonna go with this one.
Because you are incapable of waiting.
Really? Well, I am no murderer. You presented him as being a cold and patient schemer.
Certes, normalement. But Lady Clark's imminent death precipitated events. Mademoiselle, although you haven't been telling the truth, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death. For you, Mr. Clark, it was a disaster. If Miss Grey had children by your brother, you would not have inherited a thing. You realized the danger after reading several letters from Comside, especially one in which your brother opened his heart to you. So you hurried home from China, and you took action. In truth, Cust was no more than a puppet manipulated by the real culprit. You, Mr. Clark.
Such an imagination, Mr. Poirot. In fact, nobody manipulated Cust. The famous instructions he received by post. He wrote them on the typewriter. We know that for sure.
Oh no. You know perfectly well. That is not true. Eh bien voilà. Light has now been shed on the A.B.C. murders.
Your theories are ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
One point to him. For the moment, I have no material proof. Either I admit to it, or I bluff.
Invent an item of proof found in Alice Asher's tobacco shop. Lie about the fingerprints found on Cust's typewriter. Or say that proof is going to be easy to find. What if whoever wrote the letters were gloves? Then no fingerprints should be visible on the typewriter. So I don't think I'm gonna go with that one. I could invent an item of proof found in Alice Asher's tobacco shop though. Or should I say that proof is going to be easy to find? Now I want to go and see where this one leads.
One thing proves it. A carton of placed cigarettes you stole from Mrs. Asher and found at your home.
You have nothing on me. You're bluffing, Mr. Poirot. Come on, Thora, there's nothing for us to do here.
So he called my bluff.
Don't touch me.
Thora!
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter, and why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
All right. Well played. I lose. The game's up.
So he confessed.
Don't come near me!
I'm glad I loaded it
I'll
with
never
blanks.
let you take me, Mr. Poirot.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clark, there is no easy death for you. I expected your reaction, so I used blanks. I'm sorry, mademoiselle, but your second chance has been lost. Franklin Clark will never inherit his brother's fortune.
Disappointed at having missed the chance to become Lady Clark, Thora Grey left England. Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married. On Poirot's recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark. The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better. And a few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again. According to this eminent physician, it appears to be an extremely rare case of spontaneous remission. Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since. Journal of an Innocent, the incredible story of A.B.C. As for A.B. Cust, after being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
So yeah, the case is closed, and so is season 3 of Summer Night Murder Mystery. I hope that you have enjoyed this game as much as I have, even though it's far from the best game that I have ever played. I quite enjoyed it. There was some things that I found that wasn't so good, but overall I think this was an entertaining game. So yeah, this was the end of this year's Summer Night Murder Mystery. But hopefully I will see you again next year in season 4. What game I play then? Well, you just have to wait and see. So until then, thank you so much for watching and have a good night.